Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Travel Escapes, a little web series, Paul Travel, we put together for you. We are hoping that you enjoy this. It's a chance to explore some different and unique destinations from around the world. And we hope that you will find some inspiration and build that bucket list of yours. I'm Rhonda Svian, the leisure manager at Paul Travel. And usually joining me is my lovely co-host, Julie Beck-Dash, but she won't be able to make it today. So we will be just doing this presentation without her. I know this was a really special one for her because our special guest today is somebody she actually knows and has met. So, but I know we will do her justice for sure. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. I think we're all in that spring fever kind of mode, and especially travel fever. We've got it. There's all that pent up travel energy out there that we're just waiting for the world to open back up. But at least we have this great opportunity to share some amazing destinations with you, and we can continue to dream virtually. So if any of you have missed any of our previous presentations, I know that we have a few newcomers to view today, so welcome. We have a list on our Paul Travel website, paultravel.com/webinars. So you'll find all the previous presentations listed there. So please take a look, and there's some great product out there, so it's great viewing. Next week, we're going to be visiting the little Principality of Monaco. So it'll be an interesting webinar as well to kind of take a look at. We are going to be joined by the Monaco Tourism Board. So that'll be one, make sure you don't want to miss that. So that is April 1 at 4 p.m. So for today, as I'd mentioned, we have a wonderful guest joining us from the island of Hawaii. I know Julie has previously been just a couple years ago. So, and she's met this lovely lady that I'm just about to introduce. So I'm really feel blessed and have the pleasure to introduce her. Deanna Isbister. She is with the Island of Hawaii Visitor Bureau, and she's been the director of sales for about 10 years. She is born and raised on the island of Hawaii, so she's going to have some amazing insight and some personal, maybe little tips of places that you should visit and really share her knowledge. So we're really excited to have her join us today. So Deanna, if you want to turn on your video, we would love to see your beautiful face. Hello, welcome.
Aloha. Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha. Aloha. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Actually, mahalo. So thank you everyone also for joining today. And it's my pleasure to share my island home with all of you.
We're really looking forward to it. And just we're kind of in the middle of spring and winter here in Alberta. So it's very, drab and there's no life. So just being able to think about Hawaii and all of its tropical paradise is very exciting.
Okay, I won't tell you it's nice, sunny, and about 75 degrees then.
Yeah, no. Well, lucky for you. Enjoy it.
I will share.
Great. Oh, one thing just before you start, Deanna, sorry to interrupt you. I forgot to mention, everybody, if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A box. I will monitor them throughout the presentation and make sure all your questions get answered once Deanna is done. So please put them in, and also in the chat box, if you've been to the island before, maybe you have a little secret hideaway spot that you want to mention. We'd love to hear from you. So Deanna, take it away.
Okay, thank you.
Find your inspiration on the island of Hawaii.
So that was a quick glimpse of just around the island. We'll do a couple more videos later, but give you an island feel of to what an island is about, and being able to share today some of the things in different sections of the island. For those who haven't been yet to the island of Hawaii, we are actually the youngest of all the Hawaiian islands, and we are the largest and of course the most southern of all the Hawaiian islands. And this kind of shows you that we do have, of course, direct flights coming into both the airports that are here. As you can see, Vancouver, we love our Canadian flights that come in. That is on a seasonal basis, but you can get here throughout the year, right? If you're heading to Oahu for a couple of days, or if you're flying in there, it's such an easy jaunt over to our island. So you've got your experts there, Rhonda and Julie, that can help you figure out the routing on there. But to get to our island, we do have two airports. Kona, of course, is the larger of the two. Majority of the flights are coming into the Kona side or the west side. And then of course, on the Hilo side, Hilo is actually the second largest town in the state of Hawaii. So a lot of people don't know that, but we also have an airport there, and we do have a flight coming in from Los Angeles throughout the week. And I think for all the islands, we are also so unique, so different, so special in our own ways, right? We all chose a word that we felt describes us, and we help in our marketing and sharing what we think our island is about. And for that, it's inspiring. So for those who come over, our average length of stay pre-COVID was 8 days, okay? And we have a high return factor as well, because a lot of people didn't realize, they hadn't been here before, they didn't realize how large the island is, and so they didn't get to do everything they wanted to do, okay? They didn't see everything they wanted to see. So we do have a high return factor, and of course, they just love coming over. So with us, we chose inspiring, and the reason why, the island is so large, people love to just drive, okay, and explore. You can get around the island easily. We're very, very rich in history and culture. King Kamehameha, the king who united all the Hawaiian Islands, was born on this island. So we're very rich in history and culture throughout. People are wanting to show that they can travel responsibly. They want to help, you know, in volunteerism projects. They want new experience. They want unique, once in a lifetime. And we'll talk about those. But they really do these days, they want to connect with themselves, nature, and they can do it. They know that there's wide open spaces here. So this kind of just a did you know fact, but we are almost at 63% of the entire state land area. All the other islands can fit into our island, as you can see. And the entire island of Hawaii can almost fit in just Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So it goes back to remind everybody how large the island is, just to give everybody an idea. And that's why people actually stay as much as they do. Those in the beginning that maybe allow 3 days, you know, they do come back because they want to keep exploring. Okay, so we always try and say that, but as a reminder, our average length of stay is about 8 days. And here's where I talk about driving and exploring. So I love when people actually say, I'm going to stay in as many different locations as I can. So they may be landing in Kona, okay? They may spend a couple days there. They may drive up to the Kohala Coast up north, spend a couple days there. They may go over to the Hilo side and explore there. And Hilo side will put you closer to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So as you can see, I'm here in the Kona side. If I were to drive to the Volcanoes Park, it would take me about 3 hours. If I were on the Hilo side and spent overnight and just drove to the park, it'll take me about 40 minutes to get there. So it really is thinking about what you want to do. You know, do you want to spend more time at the beaches? Do you want to spend more time at the Volcanoes Park and in Hilo? And another suggestion I do is have people just kind of not try and do everything in one day. So, and that's where we can all help you, your travel advisors, Rhonda, Julie, is to think about what you want to do, what you want to see, and how to leisurely plan your vacation. For our island, one thing is diversity. So we are diverse in climates. And as you can see on the top right photo, we do have snow here, okay? I think maybe about less than a month ago, okay? There was snow up at Mauna Kea. So we have all but 4 of the world's climate zones here. Okay? And being diverse in climate kind of equates to being diverse in what you can do here and the activities, the outdoor activities that you can do here as well. So, you know, we love our oceans here. Okay? We love diving. We love just sports fishing, just snorkeling, exploring, doing the waterfalls, you know, just hiking, ATV rides. But whatever it is, likely it's outside. And we just love to be outdoors. So if you're a golfer, if you just want to be up country and do some ATV horseback rides, if you just want to hike, there's so many different options here. And we'll talk about that manta ray in a little bit later, okay? Land, air, okay, sea adventures, helicopters. I think when we had first reopened again, our volcano, there was some activities. So many of you may have remembered in 2018, we did have that eruption that happened. And we were actually so glad to see the lava come back, okay, after that, after missing it for a couple of years, that we all ran up to the volcano and drove up there to see what was happening in the middle of the night. So one of the popular things that caught on pretty quick was getting on the helicopter, right? So a lot of people would have back then done areas that they couldn't see by land. So they did some waterfall tours in accessible areas, but they wanted to see the Volcano National Park from up above. So helicopter rides is a great way to explore the island. And then today, what I wanted to do is kind of just go around the different districts that make up our island. So we're just going to hit on some points of what that district is known for, the simple kinds of things that you can do. So I live in the district of Kona, up in the mountain area, and I am surrounded by coffee farms here. I don't drink coffee, but I love when they roast out here. But being in Kona, it's about maybe a 15-minute drive after you get out of the airport. You're heading south, and you're going to see that that town there is a very walkable town. There's a lot of history in that town. And you can see that photo there. Someone is just stand-up paddling. They can be snorkeling. Right behind them is what we call a heiau, or a temple. And this is where our last king, King Kamehameha, 1812 to 1819, this is where he ruled, this is where he lived, and this is where he died. So they have that immersion of culture, like right there in the town of Kona, where they're shopping, they're dining, they're taking ocean activity adventures out there. So, you know, just lots to do right here in the Kona area. And this is a shot on the left, you can see just someone walking through Kona town. In the middle here with the outrigger canoe, you see the heiau once again. But there's also museums here. There's summer palaces for our royalty, okay, that you can visit. There's an aerial on the right-hand side of what Kona town overview looks like. So a lot of people love to come to Kona because it's such a walkable town. So of course they're shopping, they're dining, a lot of local eateries as well, but they like the closeness there. Kona is known for its water activities. So if you're looking for a white sand beach, we're going to tell you to head up north to Kohala, and I'm going to share that next. But if you're a snorkeler, a diver, a sports fisherman, Kona is actually great for that as well. And I love to share this because I talked about snorkeling and how we love our water. This is Kealakekua Bay, and it's also known as Captain Cook Bay. So this is in South Kona, and this is our #1 spot for snorkeling. And many of us will go ahead and jump on one of those catamaran boats or boats that leave from Kona or a little further south and head out there. And some of these activities that are out there will actually we'll grill you a hamburger or something. So you're out there a few hours, you're leisurely, you're jumping in and out, you're snorkeling, they have all the equipment. But Kealakekua Bay is actually our #1 spot for snorkeling on our island. And I reminded you about that manta. So I know Julie knows about this too, because she did it. But we call our manta rays, and they're not stingrays, they're manta rays. We call them our gentle giants. So it's such an amazing, we talk about once in a lifetime experience. We always encourage, if this is something that you want to do, try and getting Rhonda and Julie to maybe help you in advance, okay, for this optional tour. Once everyone's here, people talk about doing it, and all of a sudden, they're going out there and it might be tight, it might be limited on space. So we want you to think about it beforehand if this is something you want to do. And it is, for me, it's a once in a lifetime. I love it. I don't get tired of it. But they're just amazing. They're like butterflies just floating in there. But, a lot of people, when they say, what do you do at night? We would say, go up to the volcano, see the glow, look at the stars, here, because we are in a position on a clear night. It's just an amazing view in the stars where we are, and maybe take a swim with our gentle giants. That's our nightlife here. So we are going to the next district above Kona, and that's the Kohala district. And this is where you're going to find all those beautiful, your larger resorts, your hotels, your golf courses, your spas, everything. You want to get pampered, you're going to go to the Kohala area. But the Kohala district not just encompasses all those beautiful, like shopping areas and hotels. You can see here that it also encompasses an area, we call it Waimea town, but being up country, and Paniolo is the term for cowboy. It's huge for us, it's important. The history of ranching is important for us up here. So horseback ride, being up there is amazing. If you can look beyond in the background, you see that mountain there, that's actually Maui. Okay, so you can imagine just looking over the ocean and seeing Maui also. So just sharing that, we have those beautiful white sand beaches in Kohala that we all want to be at. Okay, again, I remind you, if you want those white sand beaches, we're going to send you up north. But you can also do other things besides that as well. Okay, and that was the ranching aspect too. Okay, Kohala Coast, again, the shopping is amazing. You've got different choices there, and as we emerge from all of the COVID activity that has happened, things are still emerging, but I can honestly say pretty much everything is open. Some may be at limited hours right now, but we see that increasing. We see the flights coming in. We see the traffic in town. That just means for us that we're getting more visitors. So, so there is lots to do up in the Kohala Coast area. And then we're going to move to the next district as we make our way around the island. This is called the Hamakua district. And the Hamakua district, for me, I love the drive because it takes me through valleys. It takes me through small towns. This here is Waipio Valley. And we're always going to say, you got to stop there, okay? And take in the view, take in the cliffs and the ocean. And Hamakua is known for its coastal drive. There's waterfalls, there's zip lines in this area, botanical gardens out there, because it is so lush, and that's the Hamakua district. So I love the drive. And then, as I mentioned before, if someone's staying, say on the Kona side, I encourage them, take a day, maybe do half the island, discover that, come back, and then maybe on another day. So try not to do everything in one day, because you're going to find yourself not completing everything. You just want to stop, where you want to stop, where you want to do the tour that you're doing at a leisurely place. So, and I know, and I wish Julie had chance to experience this, but I'm going to share with you too. We are also going to tell you where you have to stop to get our local foods, right? So that's what I want to hear when I go to your neck of the woods, right? So text driving, one of those places that you actually see on TV at times, but they're known for their malasadas, which is the Portuguese donuts. It could be just a regular donut. It could be cream filled with coconut or strawberry or guava, or you can see the menu on the right-hand side. But it is a very popular place when you're traveling down in that area. And if you have friends here or if you meet people, they're going to ask you to bring some back for them. So we're always going to tell you where the best foods are too. And then we are going to keep going on our tour and enter the district of Hilo. Again, mentioned that Hilo is the second largest city next to Honolulu, which again, a lot of people didn't realize, with its own airport out there. But Hilo, again, is on the lush side, or, you know, people say rainy side. I say it's not rainy, it's lush, right? But Hilo is known for its botanical gardens. Okay. Here you see Akaka Falls, which actually is the tallest sheer drop waterfall in the state of Hawaii. So as you can see the walkable path that's there. It is a state park, but it is one of those places. It's just amazing. You need to stop there. So Akaka Falls is in the Hilo district. And again, that whole area is just coastal, waterfalls, valleys, botanical gardens. There's more zip lines out there as well. So you can imagine if you're doing a zip line, you know, heading over such lush valleys, okay? And also some waterfalls in some areas. So you really love to explore every side of the island. And these in Hilo, on the left, we just saw was Akaka Falls. And also you see on the right-hand side is Rainbow Falls right in the center of Hilo. So just sharing some of the falls and that we love, okay, that I always, if I'm just stopping in Hilo, it's likely I'm stopping at one of the falls too. And then Hilo also is just so quaint. It's just so charming. It's colorful, as you can see, and it's just a fun place. It's known for its farmers markets, so very local. Hilo is known for, of course, lots of macadamia nuts, okay? A lot of papayas are out there. The farmers markets are amazing in many places throughout the island. But Hilo actually is known for their farmers markets on various days. And so everyone loves to just stroll through the shops in Hilo. A lot of local young designers have come up with pop-up shops these days. There's galleries out there, a lot of local eateries, museum, the Tsunami Museum is out there as well. On the bottom left is the King Kamehameha statue. That's one of two statues in honor of our king. So one is in Hilo, and one actually was up in the north side of Kohala. So we do want you to stop in Hilo, you know, go ahead, just walk through town, do the macadamia nut center, Big Island candies, okay, that's popular as well. But orchid farms and Churium farms in Hilo is popular too. And this is someplace that I am always going to say you must stop when you're in Hilo. Our island is very, very important to us is science and astronomy here. So one of our mountains, of course, Mauna Kea, is the home to some of the observatories that are up there. There's 13 observatories. So you have the scientists up there that are studying the skies nightly. But Imiloa is in Hilo. And it's such a great place for all ages. So they have many interactive, over 300 interactive exhibits out there. They have a cultural garden outside. They have such wonderful kids programs also. But that's one of the places that if someone's going to Hilo, I do tell them that they do have to stop there and if you're doing a guided tour, you can have the most amazing experience out there. So loving to share that Imiloa is one stop in Hilo that you have to do. Okay. And then again, I mentioned check out the botanical gardens throughout Hilo. Okay, so there's various ones around, and Hawaii Tropical Botanical Garden is one. Also right in the center of town, this is called Liliuokalani Gardens, and it is the largest, of course, authentic Japanese garden outside of Japan in honor of Queen Liliuokalani, which was our last reigning monarch. But such a nice leisurely stroll throughout this 25-acre parcel of land. And then we're going to move a little bit south to the Puna side. Puna is moving towards where you're getting closer to the volcano. So within this area, there is more parks. People that like to hike in the outdoors do kind of seek out various parks in the Puna district on their way out to volcano. And Ka'u. So Ka'u is actually the most southern point in the entire US, believe it or not. But it is home to a couple of things that are very important to us. So Hawai'i Volcanoes National Park, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but Punalu'u Black Sand Beach that you see here. So people love this beach, especially because it's very accessible. You don't have to hike down to get to another, different black sand beach. This is very accessible. And so you see the turtles that are out there. I always see the turtles out there. So this is one place that you want to stop when you're in the Ka'u side. But there's also the Ka'u Coffee Mill in this area. And another favorite, of course, is you can see we love our foods and promote our foods, but this is Portuguese sweetbread. So Punalu'u is actually a place where everyone stops, locals, visitors, we all stop there. Guava, Portuguese sweetbread, and coconut, Portuguese sweetbread. But a lot of people will make sure that this is on their itinerary. So just ask any of us. You can ask your concierge at your hotels. You can ask anybody, where to go. Likely they'll recommend Text Drive-In and Punalu'u. Okay. And for us on this island, within the state of Hawaii, there are 8 national park sites. On the island of Hawaii, we have 5 of them. So this is important for us. And we ask that when visitors come, try and include a stop at not just a volcano, but maybe one of the other parks around the island. So it's important for us to help support the national park system, but it also shares our history and our culture as well. And our rangers are so eager and excited to share, throughout their stories and their ranger talks about the history of the park, about the history of the island. So, do plan on taking in a couple of the national parks on the island. Okay. This is just 2 of them that focus on the culture and history. So important. A heiau, again, at the very top is a temple. And so in the Kohala area, Pu'ukohola, very, very significant. And this is the most, for us, the most important historical site on the island. This is where our king, prior to him being a king, was advised that if he did build this heiau or stone, the temple that you see, that he would be successful in uniting the islands. So if you look here and you just see this mound on the hill, but as you get closer and realize how it was man-made, how it was, these rocks were brought in from a sacred area, and you see the work on it, it is truly amazing. So learn the history, and same with Pu'uhonua Ohonau now down below. And this is in South Kona, but this is another area. So if those in ancient Hawaii, if they broke sacred laws that were punishable by death, they would try to flee and make it safely there to possibly be forgiven of their crimes. So a lot of history, culture in many of our parks. Okay. And then we take you to our number 1, of course, attraction, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Sometimes people ask me, do I just, is it an hour? Is it 2 hours? And I actually plan my day around it, okay? Because you just don't know. I just love to go off on certain trails, okay? I love to talk to the rangers that day as soon as I get there. What should I see today? But currently, the status at the park, of course, it is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The park, you cannot actually see the lava visibly. It is actually inside of the crater at the very top left picture. This is Halema'uma'u crater. The lava is deep underneath right now, or deep, there is a lava lake. So as it rises and rises, it will get to the point where it's high enough that you can see visibly the lava, but at night, you know, you can still see the glow. So, and that's what I love. I love to go to the park during the day, do the hiking, different trails, see different areas, see the steam vents, see the petroglyphs, but also I love to be there at night because I really want to see the sunset and I want to see the glow that's going to come out. So Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, just make sure you add it to your list. Okay. And always stop at the visitor center. It's currently closed, so they will determine a date to reopen, but the rangers are right outside. Everybody's social distancing, so these pictures you see there is not very recent. So they just kind of shows you this is the ranger talks that is in place, the ranger walks, but best to talk to the rangers. They're available as soon as you get there to tell you or recommend where you should go in the time allotted. So lots of great events, and you can always look at the site, nps.gov. HAVO is for Hawaii Volcanoes Park. And then for us, it is very important, you know, we talked about how diverse the climate is, and that turns around too. So growing things, you know, I've got coffee up here, but we've got vanilla farms, lots of papaya farms, so many different things. So if it can be grown a ranch, we're probably already doing it here on the island. Okay, so you may be wanting to visit the vanilla farm, a macadamia nut farm, definitely coffee farms. Okay, there's various ones around here. More cacao farms are popping up on the island. Okay. We have a mushroom farm up in the Hamakua area. Honey. So Big Island Bees is down South Kona. However, some of the hotels now in the recent years have actually started their own program where they where guests are, you know, they have their honey set up there and are producing their own on property. So they have guest programs where it's an educational event in some of our hotels too. But honey, and so we do with all of that, you know, I love to support our farmers market throughout the island. So these just are a couple. I mentioned Hilo's Farmers Market, but again, it goes back to supporting our local farmers, our farm to table menus and restaurants. But that's something that's very dear to our heart, is supporting our local farmers and our agriculture. Okay. And we talked about coffee farms. So this is, you know, there's just so many different coffee farms around throughout and the Kona Coast, even down south, Hilo. And you can actually visit one that you might roast your own coffee. And I know Julie has done it. You've seen the picture at the very start here. That was Julie roasting her own coffee at that time. But it's such a great experience because as you're roasting, you're learning more about the coffee beans as you walk through the coffee farms and the why and the reasoning behind all of the different roasting and telling them what you want. Do you like dark? Do you like light? Do you like medium? And for you to have that experience, I think it's just creating memories for yourself is what you want to do. And especially now when you're looking at going on your vacations and so forth, you want something memorable, you want something hands-on, you want something unique. And this is certainly one of them too. And again, for our island, sorry, sustainability, but planting your own trees. So this is in contribution to reforestation on our island. So Legacy Hardwoods also is on Oahu as well, but it started here on our island. And it's a way of getting a tree, supporting reforestation, but that tree, once you take that tour and you are given a certificate, you can actually get on the website and actually look at your tree as well. So put in your numbers that are on there that are unique to the tree, and there is a system and that are in that place for you to see how your tree is growing. So it's a really great way to give back, which is what I think Hawaii is moving towards for future marketing. Okay. And we talked about unique experiences, roasting your own coffee, Akatsuka Orchid, which is near Hawaii Volcanoes Park also. You know, I talked about the nurseries. Hilo is known for anthuriums. It's known for its beautiful orchids, its botanical gardens. This is one place I just love to stop at and it's called Akatsuka Orchids Nursery. But just to see the various types of orchids that are there, that are displayed, that you can purchase and send home. But they also have a tour that you can actually plant your own little orchid and take it home. So I know Julie has done that. And many people keep telling me, you know, I still have my orchid, but again, it's creating and it's doing something that's unique to you, that's special, that's something that's just going to resonate and be memorable during your trip. Okay. And also in, you know, in the same line of sustainability, we have a park that's called HOST, the Hawaii Ocean Science Technology Park. It used to be called NELHA, which is a natural energy lab. But within there, there's tours. This is just one of them. There's an abalone farm. There's a shrimp aquaculture farm out there. There is a seahorse farm. There is a sea salt farm. So it's a very educational. So we see more interest in that. And it's such a great way to learn, you know, more about how the island is heading towards some of the sustainability and the products. And this is the Ocean Rider Seahorse Farm that's there as well. So very educational. Kids love it, of course, but hands-on, but they do raise seahorses to send to aquariums throughout the world. So it's a really unique experience, but more so, it's a repopulation of seahorse. So it's such an amazing place to go ahead and visit. And again, you know, I did talk about sustainability and marketing for us going forward. It's about involving our guests, our visitors, to those that want to give back. So there's so many different programs. This is just at our national park, but it could be a day that they're doing reforestation. It could be a day they're just cutting some invasive ginger, the beautiful smelling ginger, but it could be a day they're just looking for help for reforestation projects. But there's many of these throughout the island. There's bird sanctuaries that you can look into and so forth. And many of our hotels too have gone more towards working with some of these partners closer to where the hotels are located to offer that to guests too, because there is an interest there too. So this is kind of stuff that we always try and now promote more going forward. Okay. And for our island, we talk about traveling responsibly. I encourage you, we have a Pono Pledge. So if you get on the ponopledge.com, it helps us to where we will keep our visitors safe. It will, even our local residents, but it's a matter of taking care and being, you know, heating the ocean conditions, taking care of land and sea, of our wildlife. We won't go in places that, you know, we shouldn't be, embracing the aloha spirit, and also, you know, just absorbing the idea of giving back, sustainability, but doing it in a safe way. And with that, I would like to share, Kuleana is responsible, and I would like to share this short video with you.
E ho'oki panei mā ko me ka ha'a mai. E kumu mai ki ia aina ma ke kuono o kumu ke akalani. This oli tells about the bay down the coast. It's called Kumukea, and it talks about welcoming visitors to this bay. E kana mai ia kako I ke kahi I ke kahi. We hope when our visitors come to visit our beautiful Hawaii island, that they come with an open mind, open heart, and be able to learn from the people that live here in hopes that they too will want to experience the beauty of the culture, the history, the people, and of course the aina.
And I'm going to point you to a website that if you do have questions about the current travel guidelines, it's hawaiicovid19.com. We have videos on there as to what the current guidelines are, or any restrictions coming into the state, traveling within the islands. I encourage you to get on that just to watch the videos that are on there. If you need additional help, we do have an email that you can send questions to, and a phone number, a helpline as well. But basically, I think my most important message And we will see how things and updates come up. But right now, it is important to just get tested from one of the state-approved trusted testing partners to bypass the 10-day mandatory quarantine into the state. So just get onto the website, covid19.com, just follow it explicitly, just follow and the details and how to make your appointments, or if you're working through our Canada trusted partners, it's exact on how you need to do it to get your test results appointment up through loading it and presenting it as well. And if you need any additional information on Hawaii, the very top is general information on gohawaii.com/CA, not only for my island, but for the entire state as well. And my last video is my favorite, and I took you through all the districts on the island. And this song that I'm sharing with you and video specifically talks, and you'll hear them mention the districts about what's in that area. And Rhonda, I will turn it back over to you, but I would just want to say mahalo nui. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful. That video kind of transported me to the island. How lovely. Thank you so much. It really showcased how lovely and spectacular the island is. I know for myself, I was there, okay, many, many years ago. I'm not going to share how many years ago it was. It'll show my age. But I remember kind of traveling from the south part of the island where the Volcano National Park is, just traveling north, and how it got greener and greener, and
Right.
how spectacular the coastal areas are.
Mhm.
So lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very
Yeah,
nice.
it's Hawaii is such a magical place for Canadians to travel to, and especially in the winter time, but anytime, I think year round, it's a beautiful island to
Yeah,
visit.
yeah, yeah. The weather doesn't change very much, at all here. So our winter here, we might get a little more rain, but I'm up here in the mountain area. And for me, it has been cold the last couple of nights. But yeah, so it has been. We are blessed with some very nice days, definitely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
lovely, lovely. So I do have a few questions
Okay.
here from viewers. So Christina was wondering, and I actually was wondering myself too. She was wondering where the Portuguese influence comes from in the history of Hawaii.
It actually comes from the sugar plantation days. And so sugar was, we had CNH sugar here, and the pineapple. So it's a plantation. So they brought in workers. So that's where you see, they call Hawaii the melting pot. But that's why everybody's so mixed in the nationalities here. But Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Portuguese, mainly were brought over to work the plantation. So you had the sugar plantations, the pineapple fields as well. So that's why they call Hawaii the melting pot. So it gathered, and that's how we immerse in everybody else's culture. And that's why when you ask someone what nationality you are, and they shell out 5 different ones. That's it.
Yeah, quite the and then that's where the influence comes in the food as
Right,
well.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly right. So such a mixture. And then we've got, of course, Hawaiian, and then Samoan influence here too. So I think for us, we just are accepting of everybody, but also the foods are just a big part of that we know each other's cooking, and we know what it is, and all of that. We request certain things of that.
Yeah. Oh, but it's nice to have the options. So that
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah,
Oh, good.
that's what
Thank
that
you.
is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have another question here. It was just a matter of how easy is it to kind of rent a vehicle when you're on the island, and be able to travel from place to place?
It is, for us, it is very easy. So rental cars are right there, okay, at the airport. The roads are easy to maneuver. You can go around the entire island. It's hard to get lost.
Mhm.
It's hard to get lost because the main highway goes on the perimeter of the island. So you use that, or you cross right through the island. But it's very easy, and if you did have questions, and the rental car, there was a time when the rental car companies did restrict vehicles from driving over the pass, which is called Saddle Road. But probably about 5 years ago, they did the entire road that goes from west side to east side, and it is a wonderful drive. The roads are wonderful, so it's really easy, Christina, to get from one side or throughout the island. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Now, and you had kind of mentioned a little bit earlier that you'd recommend a minimum of 7 days, and
Mhm.
and I know we have people that would love to go for a longer period of
Right.
time, and just in combination with the different islands too, it's a really great way to get a feel for Hawaii. But I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. Would you recommend staying in one place on the island, or maybe staying near Kona and then breaking out near Hilo? Is that something that is really necessary?
It's all personal preference, but I think for me, and then, like, I did spend time with Julie when she was here and a group. But for me, in order for me to showcase the different sides, I can show more of each side of the island if I recommend that they stay a little bit more in that vicinity.
Mhm.
So, for someone, I would say coming in, and there's nothing absolutely wrong with just staying in one place. So if you're in Kona, I think that's where I mentioned not trying to do everything in one day, but just plan it out. So maybe just go up north, um, and go to Hilo and do everything, do the waterfalls, do some zip lines, Hilo, and then cut back through the island to come to Kona. Okay. And then on the next day, do the south side and just split it up. But I mean, I think either way it is personal preference, but I think for those who like to spend more time at Volcanoes National Park, you know, you buy a pass and it's good for 7 days. So if they want to go back, it's easier if they're on that side, you know, of the island. So it varies and it depends, I think, what they want to do, what people want to do. Yeah. Some people just want to lounge at the beach and that's great too.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Everybody has a little bit of a different sense of how they want to spend their vacation. Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Now, also we have another question here, is about cycling. So not like race car, like fast type of cycling, but just more leisurely cycling around the island. How easy is that?
Around the island? Did you say around the island?
Well, I guess anywhere on the island, you know,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah, on the island, yeah, we do have activity companies that especially that are biking tours, or you can just rent a bike. But because we have Ironman, the World Ironman Triathlon here is held every, that's like the premier World Ironman that we do on the main highway down by the airport and the main stretch on Quinkaahumanu Highway, that there are bike lanes out there. So, you know, if someone, so I think the cycling part, years back, we were more aware of it because we had triathlons going on and events such as that to qualify for Ironman. And so I think there was more of an effort to make it more safe and so forth. But other than that, there's bike tours that you can do also that are up at Volcano. There's also one up in Waimea where you saw the horses in Paniolo and at one of the ranches up there. There's a company that's on the ranch property there. It's called Anna Ranch that rent out mountain bikes there too. So you can find different things in different areas, but yeah.
Okay, great, perfect, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see that there's many other questions out there. If anybody has anything that you wanted to ask, please put it in the Q&A box. But Deanna, thank you so much. It really was a lovely presentation and really gave us a good sense of the island. And I know for myself, I want to visit. I want to go back and visit. And I think it's one of those islands that you could go back time and time again, and there's so much to see and explore. And I like what you mentioned as well during your presentation. It's about experiences, and I think that's where a lot of people now are really wanting to, you know, sitting on the beach is great, but there's so much more to the destination that you visit to learn and experience and just soak up. So it's this is definitely one of those islands.
Oh, very nice. Yes, it actually is. And I think many of our partners, hotel partners, even have cultural programs, you know, at their properties because they know how important it is to kind of share. So they might have a cultural advisor on staff. So many of them do, and they have cultural activities, do cultural walks and so forth. So they really are trying to share more experiences, even while at property with visitors. So,
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah.
Well, I don't see that we have any more questions. It was quite a thorough presentation. So it was, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much again for taking the time to join us, Deanna. And thank you everybody out there again for joining in on our web series. I hope you have an amazing evening and enjoy the rest of the week.
Okay.
Good night,
Mahalo,
everybody.
everyone. Aloha.